Welcome back, folks, to the Action Network. Senior editor Malik Smith, got my man Raheem Palmer, and we're talking Pacquiao Ugas. Now, Raheem, the last time that we spoke, Pacquiao was about minus 360. Ugas was in the plus 250 range in terms of their money line odds. Those haven't moved since. You wrote an article on the Action Network talking about why you like the over-under. Give the folks a little bit of insight into why you think that's a good bet.
I mean, the over 10.5 rounds, it immediately stood out to me. It's juiced at minus 220, which means you have to win this bet over 68.75% of the time. I think that happens well over that number. I mean, when you look at the history of Manny Pacquiao, we know he has power. However, in his last 16 fights, he has just one stoppage that came in 2018 against Lucas Matisse. He's not really knocking guys out. When you look at the last knockout before that, it came in 2009 against Miguel Cotto. We have guys at the Action Network who are in middle school and high school in 2009. So, I mean, he's just not really putting guys out the way he used to. And then when you look at Ugas, he only has 12 stoppages in his 30 fights, and he's never been knocked out throughout his career. So I think the over 10.5 rounds is a good bet. It should hit well over the 68.75% threshold that you need to make a profit. So that's what we're going with.
Now, you like the over 10.5. There's also the fight to go the distance. What are your thoughts on making that bet as well?
I think the fight goes the distance. I mean, like I said before, Manny Pacquiao's not really putting guys out. You know, he's only put one guy out in his last 16 fights. Ugas doesn't really have the knockout power like that. And then when you look at Ugas, I mean, this guy has the reach advantage. He has the height advantage. He's the bigger fighter. He's a counter puncher. And we've seen Manny Pacquiao fade during the stretch of fights as he's going on to his career. Like his last fight against Keith Thurman in 2019, he knocked down Keith Thurman, but Keith Thurman was able to fight his way back into a fight to make it a split decision for Pacquiao.
All right, now, fight's going to go to the scorecards in your mind. We've seen Pacquiao fights, and we talked about it before. We've seen Pacquiao fights be a little shaky on the scorecards. Even that last fight with Keith Thurman, personally, I felt like Pacquiao handled him the whole way. Yes, Thurman fought his way back, but a split decision was kind of strange. I didn't think Thurman won that fight by any stretch of the imagination, but he did on one of the judges' cards. So is there a possibility that Ugas could come up with the wild, ridiculous, I can't believe I just saw that happen type of decision that we've seen happen to Pacquiao in his career over the stretch of his career against a number of guys? I
think one thing you got to remember is that in boxing, you can fall off at any moment. Pacquiao hasn't fought in 2 years. His last fight was against Keith Thurman in 2019. Now, I do think he'll be ready, but it's just, you know, anything can happen in boxing. I think Pacquiao is rightfully the favorite here. Ugas is a great counter puncher, but I worry about a lot about his foot movement and if he can handle the unorthodox angles in which Pacquiao throws at. So I think with this possibly being Pacquiao's last fight, I don't see him getting jerked on the scorecards. I mean, he did come out today and said he still wanted to fight Errol Spence or Terrence Crawford, but this is towards the end of Pacquiao's career, and I don't see him getting jerked. So whatever happens out there, it's probably going to match the scorecards for the judges.
Pacquiao's been saying this is going to be his last fight since 2009. So we'll have to see him actually not get back in the ring before we can believe it. All right. Now, I know I just sort of asked you this question, but I'll ask you it in this very specific way. If, for example, I am a bettor who just is determined to bet Ugas, what is the smartest bet that I could make?
I think you just go with the long odds. I think you take him to win. I really don't see him stopping Manny Pacquiao. And then obviously, you don't really want to get involved with a decision prop. So just take the long odds, play him money line. If that's how you want to bet, take him money line. I do think there's actually some value on him, from a money line perspective, because when you look at Pacquiao fights, and we saw it when he was fighting Spence, he got bet down from Spence was a 5-1 favorite, and it before they took it off the board, Spence was only a 2-1 favorite. So there's going to be a lot of Pacquiao money coming in this weekend. So wait till right before the fight, and you can get some great odds on Ugas.
There you have it. Raheem Palmer, he likes over 10.5. He also likes the fight to go the distance. And he doesn't really hate Ugas to win, but Raheem thinks that Manny Pacquiao is going to go out there and put on a show. I agree.